welcome to the Wolf Den podcast. This is a new podcast series I'm doing on the channel, brand new, never done it before. But I really wanted to get into podcasts, and I've got a couple friends with me and that I'm going to be doing it with. So first of all, if you didn't know, my name's Vickash. So we'll be calling each other by our first names. So my name's Vickash. I'm the one that owns this channel. And yeah, I got two friends with me, so I'll allow them to introduce themselves right now.
Yeah, I'm
Hello.
Jino. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know? I'm
That's-
Frank.
Okay, yeah. So Frank, this is Frank. Talk Frank.
Hi.
And this is Jino. Talk Jino.
Yeah, what's up,
Yeah,
boys?
All right. Okay. So yeah, these are my good friends. They'll be here a lot for podcasts probably. So get to know these two. You've seen them on my channel before probably with Minecraft and all that. And yeah. So for this first podcast, what we're going to be talking about is university and struggle of university. I think I'm titling this video like "University: The Struggle Within" or something like that.
Mhm.
So yeah. First things first, I'm gonna try to have us not say the name of our institution. If we end up doing that, okay, cool. But just some, guess background information. We all went to the same high school. That's how we all know each other. Frank and I go to the same university. Gino goes to a different university, but we're all in Ontario, so we all go to an Ontario university. So yeah, Canada, Ontario, mad things. Let's go. And yeah, so as we're recording this right now, we all just finished exams. Gino finished his last exam like 2 days ago. I finished a week ago today. Frank finished like 6 days ago. So I guess first thing to kind of talk about, whoever wants to go first. So now with finals done, how is everyone doing? Just like generally, how are you guys? How are you guys doing?
Honestly, I've never been so much better.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god, because all the stress, all the panic and anxiety, it's all gone, dude. Like
Mm-hmm.
literally, you could see it on my face too. Like acne starts to go away. I start losing my eye bags that are like underneath my eyes. You know, I start
Yeah.
to look like a living person instead of like a corpse. So like,
Yeah.
it's so good. It's so good.
Alright. What about you, Frank?
Basically what Gino said. Yeah. It's a sense of relief in a way,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I feel good.
Yeah, that's good. I feel pretty good too. I finished before everyone. I think I was the first one in our friend group to finish, so that felt good. One thing Gino just said, he feels so relieved, right? And like I get
Yeah.
that for sure. Like, and I feel relieved too. But I'm gonna tell you, and I don't know if you feel about the same way about this, Frank. It felt so weird to not have to keep going. You know, we struggled with we started university in September. Now we're in December. Like, it feels weird to not have to do anything. I'm not waking up to go to an 8 a.m. Zoom call and stuff like that. Like, the fact that it's done, it just seems like, is it really though? Like, I feel like it's too good to be true in a sense. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Yeah, honestly, I kind of get what you mean, but
Mhm.
I just tend not to think about it too much.
Yeah. How do you feel,
Yeah.
Frank?
Same.
Thing?
Yeah.
All right, yeah. I think one thing I'll talk about, like, you know, let's be real, all right? Like, for those of you guys listening, we didn't like how this first semester went. We're all first years. This is our, our first steps of university, first post-secondary life. We didn't have a fond experience these first 3 months, so we're pretty one-sided in this topic. So we're just kind of, it's more of a rant we're doing, right? So I'll just say right now, I think mentally, in the terms of stress, this definitely took a toll, like all of university. So like for me personally, I beforehand, high school stress would just be like, oh, that big unit test, or oh, that big assignment. And then I'd also have like other personal problems with like, just I don't know, like people, like people. People are bad people. And that was something like I went through. But university, like being in university, it was just stress. It was just the stress of school. I didn't have any personal problems. We're in quarantine. I haven't really seen anyone, and I'm only talking to you guys and like the rest of the squad, our friend group. So for me, just the stress is what really got to me, and I don't think it was as bad. Maybe it's easy saying that now because we're done, but I just want to ask you guys, like, how bad was this stress for you from university compared to like other things in your life?
Honestly, I gotta stop saying that. It was pretty bad.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah. No, I feel like university was not ready for Corona, at all.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they were planning, but they set this up so badly, in my opinion. Like a lot of people in first year, they say that first year is the best year, right? First year was definitely not the best year for like any of us.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Like you expect them to go maybe a little bit easier, but they actually go a little bit harder instead.
Yeah, the
And
key thing with that, right? And I totally get that, and I think you're correct. But the key problem with us first years, we don't know what normal is in university. Like, is it harder than
hmm
this, or was this because we think it's hard? But what if third, fourth years are saying, "Yo, this was easier." Like we don't know, and that's what's
yeah.
got me really on edge. The fact that I didn't like how this first semester went, and thinking if this is it dialed down because of COVID, that's like got me scared for like once we get back. You know?
For me, like my courses, they gave out old tests from previous years,
Mm-hmm.
so we could go through them, and those tests were like 10 times easier. Like there were less questions, the questions were easier, and it was multiple choice, so it was like multiple times easier. Meanwhile, we're getting like harder questions, more questions in general, and less time. That's not multiple choice. It's so bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like wait, so you say you got like as practice or you talked to upper years
No,
about
no,
like
as
previous
practice,
tests?
as practice.
So as practice you got like old tests.
Mm-hmm.
But then your real test like this year for actual marks was different?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, like you said, like I wish they went easier. And I'm not like, y'all listening could be like, "Oh, you guys should just be like stop trying to make it easier for yourself. University's hard." And I get that. Don't get me wrong. I know university's hard. I'm not expecting this to be a cakewalk. But given all the circumstances with COVID, like I really think there should be some like, this should be an exception big time. Like if there was a point to dial it back, this is that point. So
Yeah,
yeah.
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 I'd also like to say, like, I do expect uni to be hard, but like I also expect it to be fair. But it's
Yes,
not
yeah.
really fair
To be
to
fair.
us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Frank, what do you think about it? You haven't really talked much yet.
Um, I find that I'm in a constant motion of stress, even though, um, like I finished, like let's say I finished one assignment, I have to stress
Mhm.
about another one, and then it kind of like clogs up, and then it leads to even more stress, and then yeah, not
Yeah,
good.
it's whack in my opinion. Uh, like I've seen like I think it was a TikTok or a meme. It's like it's a guy walking into like his room to lie down in bed right after he's finished the assignment. He lies down on the bed. As he lies down, he jumps back up because he has another assignment to do. It's literally that cycle. Like it's hard to find a comfortable gap.
Yeah,
That's what's hard. And I don't like it
and
like
yeah,
that. It's pretty stressful. And you would think like I kept thinking because uh for our high school, we all went to the same high school. Um, it was simple. Like I remember I was talking to some teachers, or like they were telling us stuff, like at our high school, they had a like policy or rule or whatever of like don't give the students more than 3 hours of work per course. So we have 4 courses in high school, unless you have a spare. And then, so like normal is 4 courses. So that's 3 times 4. That is 12. Yes, it is. Okay. I had to do math in my head just now. Guys, I don't take math anymore, but guys, I'm doing that
Bruh.
psychology now. Yeah, okay. Yeah, but like in theory then, you should have 12 hours of work per week. That wasn't always the case for sure. Don't get me wrong. Like math courses, science courses definitely weren't like that, but it was much more bearable in high school. And this is when we switched online because of the outbreak back in March. Yes, March. And I think that was like more manageable. Like it was simpler. I was able to get in a routine of like waking up. Like I would wake up, eat breakfast. As I'm eating breakfast, math like posts on the Google Classroom, like here's notes, here's homework. I would do that. After I do that, I put a couple hours into chemistry, and then after that, our French teacher had like one little assignment to do each week. I just needed to do that in one sitting, so that was easy. And then English, I just had to basically read at night and then make notes. So it was super simple, like to get through all that, and it be in a routine of sorts. But university, like, it's all over the place, and I don't like that. I mean, I guess that makes sense. That is how literally every university is. Like, your schedule is not the same every day. It depends. Like, Wednesdays can be your tough day, Thursdays can be that one class, and, maybe you have an off day or something. So, and I think the key thing with that is you think you can get into a routine. Like, okay, cool. Like, every Wednesday, it's just like this, or every Friday, it's like this. But it's not like that. It's constantly changing. Like it goes by so quick. You're not always like on the same. Like your momentum is never the same for every course. Sometimes it'll pick up. Sometimes it'll slow down. Sometimes it'll be confusing. Sometimes it'll be straightforward. Like it's so random that I don't know. I don't like the whole. It feels really disorganized. Is what I guess I'm trying to say.
Yeah, yeah. To add on to that, like I think that it doesn't help that it's online, So like it's hard to regulate all that, by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And like before, we at least had classes to go to, so we could at least, time everything and schedule stuff. But I think it's harder now to like actually do that kind of stuff. You expect
Yeah.
it to be easier because we have more freedom, but that's
not.
not the
Yeah.
case.
I think the thing is
So,
like it caught everyone off guard. I think the fact that
mhm.
this is actually hard. Like I really expect this to be like I was making my schedule and I was like, yo, cool. Like Tuesday I have like no class that day. I set up my schedule to have an off day Tuesday. Tuesday is the day I can like chill. You think I ever used Tuesday for like a personal day to chill? That never happened. Like I had to work. Like I had to put in work on that day. Like that did not happen. So yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of to segue into a different topic, you talked about the online school. We don't like how it's structured online. Just
Hmm.
briefly, as we finished finals, just generally, like maybe not go too descriptive. How did everyone's finals go? I'll let Frank go first, because Frank.
It went well, but in a sense that it was very tough. Um,
Elaborate.
like the exams themselves were like hard. So like you get these questions that are like worded so weird to the point it's like, what is this question even asking for?
Yeah.
It was
Um.
like, yeah, it was very stressful too because we had like a certain amount of time, and like that time kind of flies when you're doing
Yeah.
the exam. Yeah.
Yeah. For some backstory for like people that are listening, um, Frank and I at our university, we have a website we go on to, and then from that website we click a link to write our any evaluation, whether it be a midterm or a final exam. And from there, they're usually like multiple choice or short answer. So multiple choices, multiple choice, short answer is just a text box. And then in the top left, you've got like a time limit or something that's counting down. So that's 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it is. Jino, I think you said your exams get proctored, right?
Yeah, feels bad, man.
Did that happen for finals?
Actually, not really, because they cut down on the webcams and all that. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I've always heard about like the whole thing of putting on your webcams and like before you write your evaluation, you gotta like pick up your computer, like spin around your room so they know like what your view is. So
yeah,
I don't, and
yeah.
that hasn't
I'm
happened to
surprised
me.
that you guys didn't like have any proctored
I was
evaluations.
supposed to like for one of my finals, I was supposed to have one, but the prof said about 2 weeks left in the course. Like, okay,
Mhm.
don't worry, it's not going to be like that.
Yeah.
And I think because we use a thing called, I think if you don't know what this is, there's something called change.org. It's like petitions you can sign. You share that link out, get people to sign it, and you show it to like, get change to happen. That's why it's
Yeah.
called change.org. Oh my God.
Whoa.
Yo.
Yo.
Yeah, I don't fully know if that worked. I know it did get like 1,000, like over 1,000 signatures for sure, maybe like a couple thousands. I don't know if that worked, but yeah, I didn't see any. And then some courses were just nice, and they were like, "We understand that the anxiety of it being proctored, so we're just not going to do that." So yeah, in a way, I'm thankful that it wasn't, because you know. And I'll say this: some courses said, like, before writing the exam, or the final, it'll be open book. You're allowed to use your notes. So I didn't feel weird about using my notes. Like they instructed me to. And on top of that, they're my own notes. I didn't just print out sheets that the professor like had. Like I read the textbook. I wrote down my own notes myself. I read them myself. It's all my writing, from definitions I saw or like my own words or analogies on things. So I felt comfortable using it because I'm the one that made it. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's my thoughts regarding that. Um, okay, Frank said his finals were stressful with the wording and stuff. Gino, how were your finals in general?
Well, I had like 5 finals in 1 week, but
Yeah.
obviously they're all science courses too, and like science and math courses, engineering courses, all that. So it's like obviously it was gonna be stressful, but it went out okay. Personal, like I think it went good, mainly
Mm-hmm.
because professors, I think they started listening a little bit. They made surveys and all that, and they were definitely listening to our complaints.
Mm-hmm.
And I could tell that they made actual adjustments. Like you could actually see them through the announcements trying to make these changes.
When did that happen for you? Like, how many weeks left in the course till when?
One
Did you
week
see that?
left. Yeah, 1 week left, and then they started like panicking. They noticed like that the students really hated all the courses, so all the professors started panicking, started like changing the
Here's the
exams.
thing, like I didn't notice that. Like I know there was a course we complained to the prof, like we were like, why was this evaluation like this? The questions made no sense. We weren't even taught some of this stuff, and the professor was just there taking that and be like, okay, I'll make adjustments, right? And then
Hmm.
this was up for a midterm back in October, I think, and then our final was December we kind of still had the same problem. Like some questions were worded weird, so we had to email the professor.
Yeah.
um but yeah, like I think what I'm hoping, and we'll get into this probably at the end of the podcast, but like for next steps, um, like I'm hoping they'll listen to all that criticism. We had surveys. You can like rank each course, like do you agree that the material is good? Do you agree with the teaching methods? Like it was a survey, and then you also had like a text box to say anything additional. I did that for all 5 of my courses. I had stuff to say about some of them, or for all of them, I had stuff to say. Some were more. I'll be real. I was criticizing stuff because I didn't like how some stuff went, and I called it out. I was like, okay, I don't like how this is being taught. I don't like this method used.
I think I think they should have done surveys earlier on.
Yeah.
Because for my uni, they did surveys at the very end, and I like how they did the exams. The exams were really nice. The only problem is that they're not spaced out, but each individual exam was like perfectly fine, like more than fine in my opinion. Like
Mm-hmm.
the only problem is that they should have done this from the start, because all
Facts.
the midterms in between were so bad.
Yeah.
And like everyone was complaining, but we couldn't complain to anyone because there were like no surveys, no one to talk to. We don't even know each other. Like I don't even know some of my professors' names. Like that's how disconnected we are.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
To
I get
add,
it.
yeah, to
Go
add
on,
on
Frank.
what Gino said, yeah, I feel this. Yeah, so for mine and Vickash University, we had like a link going around in chats for like a petition to like stop what was it again?
Proctored
Yeah,
exams.
proctored exams. So that's kind of like how we kind of got, like, that was like the only survey we got. Otherwise, like we
Well, no,
did have,
that wasn't
actually
even
that wasn't even
university.
that was a
No, listen,
university.
that was students making that. The thing
Yeah,
we did
yeah,
when we rated the course, that was the university. Like we got that in our university email. The change.org link, that was a student who created that, and that what got
yeah,
pushed around. Like that wasn't like we had to do that. We took that into our own hands. And when I say
yeah,
we, I mean students of university. So yeah. But yeah, like
yeah.
definitely I agree with Gina. Like the surveys beforehand. I had one professor who did it like after the first midterm or like midway throughout the course. And she was kind of just like, what do you guys like about how I do the pre-recorded lectures and stuff? And people were like, talking like, oh, we want more text. Oh, you talk too fast, whatever. And she adjusted to that, she said she was making an adjustment. I wasn't paying attention if she was. I'm gonna assume she did. Um, but yeah, like professors like that really put in the effort to like make sure everything's working fine. And yeah. Oh, so I'll
yeah,
talk about my finals because I haven't talked about that. My finals went pretty all right. I had a hectic moment when I was like, how am I gonna study this? Because I had like things back to back, like really close to each other. And I'm a type of person, I like focusing on one thing at once. So what that means is when I have a course, right? Let's say I have an exam for marketing coming up, right? I don't want to study anything else until I'm done that marketing exam. I want to study marketing, do the marketing exam, and then boom, move on to the next thing. Unfortunately, given like, the pressures and the timing of like when they put my exams, I couldn't do that. I was studying marketing like 4 days in advance to when it was. And then even before marketing, I was studying like two other subjects or something at the same time. So that kind of like threw me off. I did all right. I think I got my exact mark back for two courses. Or no, three courses now. And I did all right. Definitely not as well as I do in high school, but that's expected. We moved on to university. University stuff. But I don't know. I'll always be wondering, would I have done better if this was in person? I guess I'll have to see that once we actually get back in person. But yeah, exams were definitely stressful. I remember talking to myself being, how on earth am I going to do this? But hey, here we are. I did it. Well, we did it. So
yeah.
yeah, that's
Let's
nice.
go.
It's really
Yeah.
nice to be done with it because, the key thing with university, and I'll also say this about finals. In high school, we have our Christmas break probably, I think
Before Christmas.
I think this week right now as we're recording this would be the first day of Christmas break probably.
I think yeah,
I think
yeah.
I
yeah,
mean,
because Christmas
it
is
is
this
for me
Friday.
too.
Yeah. In high
Yeah.
school, I think the last day would have been the 18th. So the last Friday that just happened. And then this week
Oh
would be the
damn.
Christmas. Because I know sometimes Christmas can be on the Monday or Tuesday. So they literally just go the closest Friday before Christmas. So I guess, yeah, you kind of got. This is the best time for high school. Well, I mean, COVID's obviously bad. But if it
Mhm.
wasn't COVID, I think this is the best time to have a break because they would have to close it, and you technically got a week till Christmas Day. So yeah,
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
one
was
thing I
just
like
saying,
about that
I feel
in
bad for like the
you go on.
people who have exams like right now. Like I don't know how they do
That's
it.
us.
Yeah, I know, but like we don't have like not us, but like our grade. Like they have exams right now. Like what?
Wait, when you say our grade, you mean university or grade 12?
No, grade like first years.
Okay, yeah, first, yeah.
Yeah.
No, okay. Well, I was actually gonna say no. I'm happy that the exams are now, because I'll give reason for that. The reason for that is in high school, you have your Christmas break, and before the Christmas break, it's always a scramble to get like that one major evaluation done in every course. There's always that big unit test. Like you're probably gonna have like, you know, at least 4 out of 5 of your, oh sorry, 3 out of 4 of your courses are gonna have a big unit test that week, the last week before the break. And it would happen before the Friday, because the Friday would be like the holiday assembly or whatever, like the day like, oh, it's Christmas, no one really shows up, it's the half day or whatever. That would happen. You'd scramble through all that, and then you'd have Christmas break. That's nice. Christmas break, like what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it was. And then you come back and you're gonna be like, oh, it was Christmas. Okay, let me get back into the swing of things. You get back into the swing of things. You learn one final unit in January. This is January. And then you have to write your final exams for the whole course since you started in September. And that was like, whoa, insane. And I guess the key thing for me is like, it's right now, here's what we can afford to do. We can afford to like somewhat forget what we just learned in a sense. Like, not completely, but like, you know, if I forgot that one little thing, like, okay, it'll be taught to me again. In high school, you can't afford to like forget about an entire unit or something. You have to
That's
know.
facts. What?
So that's why I like the fact that we have exams before Christmas, because that way you can chill all Christmas, and you
I
can't
didn't even
even
think
get
about
mad at
that, but that's a
yourself.
good point.
Because
Yeah.
here's what you do. Like, let's say like you're a really good student, right? You,
Mhm.
on Christmas break, you're probably gonna somehow find a way to review something. Like you'd be like, okay, let me review those math notes. Let me review that one chapter or something. University, there's nothing to review. We're done. You can't get ahead of a course that hasn't already started. Semester 2 starts middle of January, or like within the first week of January.
Yeah.
You can't do anything. The only thing you can do is like course selection and like buying school supplies. You can't study anything. Nothing's started yet. So that's why I like university in that sense, with the timing of it. It's stressful. Don't get me wrong. It's so stressful. But the reward, like that it's Christmas, the holiday season, for those that don't celebrate Christmas, you know, holiday season is always a nice time of year. Um, it's a nice reward to like be at this point. Obviously, this year it's different because COVID, but I think it still feels nice. So yeah.
Yeah. But like the only problem with that is that the exams are all bunched up. I
Hmm.
mean, I don't know. It's like that for me.
Mhm.
I had 5 exams in one week,
Yeah.
and like that was really tough. And the week before that, I had a bunch of assignments, a bunch of quizzes, like last semester assignments and all that, labs. It was such a mess. So I had to spend like one week full of like full on stress.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'd rather have it more spread out, to be honest. But like I don't know how they would do that without going into January. I don't know.
Yeah, I get that. Because here's the thing, like, not only do they do that in university, they also incorporate weekends. Like Saturday and Sunday is a day you can write your exam. I wrote one exam on Saturday morning at 9 a.m. So yeah.
Mhm.
So Frank, what do
Yeah,
you think
that's
about like the whole you know, finals or final exams for the semester being done before Christmas, as opposed to high school when we still have to have that throttling in our mind during Christmas break? What do you think?
Yes, it is good to get like exams over with before the break because during the break we can relax. But at the same time, um, the way that the exams were spread out was very bad. I remember I had like 2 exams on the same day, and they were like half an hour apart from each other. So that was very stressful.
Yeah, and one of them went to like, you told me about
Yeah,
this. One of them went to like
one
9:30 at night, right?
yeah, very late in the night at like 9:30. I was like, I was like, Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know they went that late on the evaluation, but
Yeah.
it happened. So yeah,
But yeah,
Yeah,
we're
I
done that
mean,
now.
we're done.
We didn't like it, but we're done. So
We're
yeah.
done.
All right.
Okay.
Next topic I'll kind of segue into semester
Lectures.
as a whole. Just kind of not talk about finals, just anything. I guess we kind of touched on about this, but this has been a very different semester. Everyone listening, you've heard this all before. This is a very different year. It's a very difficult time. Of course, COVID screwing all us over. Definitely hard, definitely stressful, definitely different, unprecedented. How did you guys think the semester went given all these circumstances? I think Gino's got a lot to say about this, so I'll let him go first.
Yeah.
Yeah, go Gina.
Well, okay. It was so like I don't know what they were thinking. The way they set up the lectures were so bad, especially for like you expect them to be good, especially
You can
because they're
elaborate on
like
that if you want.
no,
Like how
yeah, I'm gonna go on about it because
Gino's like ready
okay,
to be like, yo, I'm ready to spit some fire right now.
yeah. Because like some courses like chemistry is such a big course, especially for like science students, right? But all they do is read off the script and show some slides.
Oh my
And
god, I can relate on that for another
that
course,
is
yeah.
such a bad way of teaching a course. Like
Same.
I would rather go to Khan Academy and just like watch random video than like on chemistry rather than like watch the lecture because that would be actually more informative. And they decide to
Mhm.
use big words on purpose, you know? I don't know why. I think they do it because they got scripts, they're prepared, but like using big words, it doesn't help us understand. It
Yeah,
makes it
one
more
thing
confusing.
kind of got me thinking, like with the whole using big words, right?
Yeah.
In an online setting, you should really tone it down. Like when we watch you, okay, think of it like this: it's a Zoom call, right? Or it's a pre-recorded video, and you would think, oh, these students are on YouTube all the time. They're on social media. They're watching videos all the time. We're not watching videos of all these people talking in this really formal language. We're
No.
watching like
Mhm.
really simple stuff.
Yeah.
Like we're watching
Yeah.
Minecraft videos. We're watching like, vlogging channels. We're not watching that kind of stuff, and that's the stuff that keeps us engaged. It's fun and entertaining, but it's also simple to grasp and like catch on to. Like you can walk into the living room of like your sibling, like watching like some vlogger, right? And they can be halfway through the video. You sit down, you'll get on that. You'll understand like, okay, here's what's happening. If you got like a chemistry lecture or something playing, like they're already talking about big words. They're referencing like the past big words they were saying before. You can't catch on to that. Like that's just not something
Mhm.
that's like, okay, all right, now I'm caught up. I got the hang of it. Like no, that's not how it works. I think make it simple. Like, and we're big kids, right? We're in university, like we're adults, but honestly, baby us a little. Like treat it like we don't know stuff because it's hard online. You know?
Mhm. Yeah. I don't know. Did they make it more complicated than it is? Like topics that I knew before going into university, I became confused about the topics I already knew about. That's how bad it was. Like if you're gonna teach, like at least allow me to like not get confused about the stuff I already know about. Like it's so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like on that, I guess like some courses they do actually have good lectures, but like each one has their own faults. I guess no course was actually like perfect or good. All of them were pretty
I
bad.
think it's hard. If any professor, and this doesn't even go for Ontario universities, any professor that had to do this whole online Zoom call thing, if there's a professor that crafted the perfect course under these circumstances, they gotta share what they did because if it's like a test, right? Who got 100 on this test? I doubt anyone got 100 on this test that is having a successful course in COVID online school. No one got 100 on that test. If you did, please tell us how, because everyone.
Please, please.
Please, yeah.
Frank, what do
Yeah.
you think about this semester as a whole? We go with same
Bad.
uni, so
Bad. Let's see. One of my classes, the Zoom calls would be us, the prof, slideshow. They talk. They kind of just ramble on, and kind of gets that it's like hard to retain in a way because they keep rambling, and then when they stop, you're just like, what did they just say? Because like
exactly, yeah.
it's so hard to retain. Like if they're talking slow and you're just like, or if they're talking fast, you're like, whoa. Or if they're reading off a script, you're just like, can you like at least show us the like what you're talking about and like elaborate on that instead of just rambling on and not stopping. It's like, well, we kind of need to retain this, and you rambling is not helping, and it's kind of
Yeah.
like adding another layer of stress on top of what we're dealing with already, and yeah, not good.
Yeah, I think like it's the worst for first years, right? Because like by like I don't even know what year you really have uni figured out. Hell, I don't even know if you people at fourth years got uni figured out. But for first years, which is us, like I think you really gotta like tone it down, like lead us into this. I think professors, when they're teaching a first year course, should have this kind of obligation morally to like make sure this thing is simple, because university is a different breed, lads. Like it's hard and it's a big transition. It's a huge learning curve. And the fact that we're sitting here now thinking this was a big learning curve to get through, and they totally did not do it right. Like they didn't do it right. They knew, and this isn't a first world problem. Like it's not like, okay, ooh, we should learn from this. Like, no, we've learned from this. We should expect this to happen. Like we've seen stuff like this before, like things being hard. And like it's not hard to imagine that, okay, shifting a whole education system online through this app called Zoom and through like postings on like Desire to Learn or Google Classroom or whatever it be. You're shifting a whole education system onto that. Of course you expect that to be tough. And I get that. Like that was the option. We had to switch online. Like that had to happen. But there was definitely a better way to do it. And the thing that'll kind of annoy me is let's say a prof is like here right now and they'll be like, and they would say this. Well, what do you expect us to do? We've never been through this before. This is the first time this has ever happened. And I get that. But I mean, let's use some logic here. You teach us all about problem solving in university, right? You teach us all critical thinking. Oh, here's how you can problem solve. Here's how you can like apply your stuff. Why not use that in creating a course for university? Because some profs, like you talked about the whole script thing, right? I had a prof like that.
Yeah.
He presented his PowerPoint slides and he's talking, right? He's got like 4 bullet points on his slides. He's not talking about those bullet points. He has a script. He's reading something. He's using these words, and I'm like, okay, you are not coming up with these words on the top of your head. You're referencing so many stories about so many like other things that this is a script, no doubt about it. Why are you reading that? And okay, and if you're gonna read that, why not just provide something like that to us? Because you're showing us 2 bullet points, 4 bullet points on a slide, and then you're just rambling about something else. And it's just a case of like, come on, that's how you scheduled the course. Like it's a disappointment, really.
Yeah.
Like I'm standing back, you're thinking, okay, it's shifting online, let's see how the professors do this. And now we're here, it's like that's what it was. That's what you came up with that way to teach the course. It's like, man, we live in a society.
Yeah.
We live in a society.
A student had to like present, but like they had to use a script and they had to keep looking at the script.
Exactly. Like
That's
it's
basically
so
what the professors are doing.
hypocrites, man.
Yep.
Hypocrites, exactly. Yeah.
Tell us not to read off scripts, but end up now like
us
look
not
at
to like
yeah
bunch up all the slides, bunches up all the slides themselves. Like,
yeah reads the script like using words that
Like, it's
we don't
so
even
whack.
know.
You teach us all about all these like patterns. Like, hey, don't fall in the habit of doing this. Make sure you're doing it like this. Get and look when they were like, and imagine you're the professor, right? The education minister, whatever, says, okay, guys, you got to make this course online. Look at what they fall back on. The things they told us not to do.
It goes out the window literally. Like
Also, like,
oh
what was I gonna say? uh, oh yeah, from like the jump in
Hmm.
material from like grade 11 to grade 12 is actually larger, in my opinion, than like the jump from grade 12 to grade like first year. But somehow the jump from grade 12 to the first year in uni is much harder, even though there's less material. And I think
Okay,
that's because
if that's a statistic, like that's genuine,
like
like the jump from grade 11 to 12 is harder. If that's true,
not necessarily harder, just more in material, you know? Like we learn a
I
lot
didn't.
more in
Okay, well,
grade
I
11 to
personally don't
grade
feel
12.
like that. I won't argue with you if that's actually a statistic, but yeah, definitely uni made it feel like a big jump.
yep.
I feel like that's mainly because they didn't handle this correctly.
Yeah.
Like there's not like comparing grade like uni to grade 12. I'm gonna be honest. It feels like there's not a lot that I've learned. Like the material's still the same. You know, we're still covering the same topics, just a little bit more in detail. So I don't know why it was so hard.
I feel
You
like
know,
everything I've learned in
so
this semester, I could have learned in high school with the same teacher I had in like grade 10 or 11. And if they taught it in simpler terms, the way they did, then I think I would be smarter like 2, 3 years ago than I am now with that knowledge of whatever I would have been learning.
yeah, yeah, that's facts. That is so facts.
So yeah. But yeah, I think COVID just like the argument's always going to be, well, what do you expect? Like we'd never had to shift this all online, you know? So like, don't come at us. But at the same time, like, I mean, come on, like you can do better. We know we can do better. Like there was a
That's
way, and
facts.
don't get me wrong, there's profs out there that probably have done really good. Like I'm going on Rate My Prof, and I'm seeing like comments of like, oh, this professor really good with handling, making sure everyone transitioned into the whole online environment nicely. Good on them. Really great professors if they do stuff like that. But others just, I feel like they thought like they didn't know what to expect, and then they kind of just, it's a case of they saw an uncomfortable situation and didn't challenge it. They just were like, oh, let me just get by this. And the getting by
Yeah,
is the lazy work with managing a course.
they
Yeah.
just tried to shuffle along, just ignore, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There's another argument, that like, upper years they talk about how we got it easy right now because it's all online, but they don't know how it's actually going.
Kind of don't.
So,
Kind of don't.
yeah, what would you guys say to that?
We kind of don't because we just came from like what grade 12, and some people are like what taking university for like I don't know.
Yeah, no, there are people saying that we got it easier
We don't.
because, yeah, yeah, we
Yeah,
don't.
like
But like,
the argument with that is like, I don't know what your normal is. Like going to the university, like first, I already know that's fatiguing for me. It takes me at least probably like 3 hours out of my day to like dedicated to having to commute to my university. Like, and that's fatiguing. Like getting on the subway, whatever. Like getting there and getting back home because I don't live on res. I live at my house. Um, I already know that's gonna fatigue me, and that already takes away time from studying. Like if I had to do this, imagine this, right? Let's say you had your Zoom classes, right? But to get to your Zoom classes, you have to actually. I mean, this is maybe easier for you, Gino, because I think you live really close to your university.
yeah, I do, I
But
do.
for Frank and I, that commute, to our university is it's long. It takes a while, and rush hour and all that, like that can get hectic.
Oh,
Imagine you had to log on to that Zoom call. There's a special computer waiting at that university, and to go to all your classes, you had to go to that computer. Like that's tough. Like imagine if it was like that. That would be really hard. I think.
Yeah.
Like that would take a toll. Fatigue in like terms of like, energy I had. But yeah. All right. I think we can all agree that semester as a whole, because COVID is not the greatest. So, not structured the best, lazy, and could have done better.
also,
Yeah, go ahead.
there were factors that were somewhat like not looked at a lot, like technical issues. I think they worked out a lot, but it still wasn't being looked at. Like, let's say someone's like internet completely just cut out, right? And then they're
Mhm.
like, oh, and then they come back with the excuse that, oh, my internet cut. And then, some professors be like, oh, that's not a legitimate excuse. It's like, how do you know if it's like, how do you know what I'm feeling? Like, your Wi-Fi didn't go out, or your power didn't go out, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, the biggest
I
thing for me,
think
like I got so scared, right? Like I was always thinking, there was one point when I can't remember what day it was, but like there were crazy winds here in Toronto. But and I was so scared because I had an evaluation the next day. I was like, if this thing carries on, or hell, even tonight, if it were to like cut my power and I didn't have internet, like I was freaking out. But like, how do I explain that? And I was just,
yeah.
that's something like I never asked a professor about that, because I just don't know, like how they would even approach that, because it's a legitimate reason. Like, if power goes out because of a blizzard in an area or something, like, okay, you gotta like allocate for that. But no, there's been no talk. Nobody told me anything about like what to do about that. Maybe that's in the syllabus, but you know, that's a penalty that shouldn't be a penalty. Like they'll be like, oh,
No.
make up for it, but like you can't control that.
Yeah. I think they do actually handle that well, to be honest. Because
It didn't
I feel
happen,
like
so I don't know.
yeah, it didn't happen to us, but like, I mean, I hear stories about it happening, and they do actually handle that kind of stuff well. So it does end up being okay.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and then there's the mental health of us students too. It's not being looked at either. Like, they give us links to like these, I don't even know, like articles, or like, yeah, articles
No,
about
just like
mental.
things to reach out for help. Probably like link
Yeah,
you to like Kids Help Phone or something.
Yeah, doing schoolwork at home, it makes home a little less refreshing,
yeah,
Yeah, that's the key
Like when
thing.
we used to go to high school, we'd be excited to go back home and chill at home, but like we can't even do that anymore because like home is our new school.
Yeah, and
And
home is school. Yeah, home is
I talked to
school.
you guys about this. There's a key problem with having the place you learn and the place to relax being the same building. The purpose of schools, and this is why like you go to your institution at school, because that building is where you associate, okay, this is where I learn material. And then you leave that building to come home. And it's like, okay, this is where I relax and sleep and do whatever. This is where I have my downtime. Having having that as the same building does not mix well. It's
Mhm.
really bad. And I mean, we can't do anything about that. Like, what am I gonna say? Like, oh, let me just like go to a different building for university. That's not happening. So, but yeah, I think that should be a factor, because with the whole mental health thing, that takes a toll mentally. Like, how are you supposed to like relax? Like, people need to relax. It is impossible to go this whole time 24/7 school. You are gonna get burnt out. Like, you are gonna
Mhm.
struggle. It's gonna take a toll on you. You can't just say, oh, be sure. Like, one of my profs said like this. She said, guys, always make sure make sure that at least once a week you have a day or something for yourself. I'm like, what is that ever? That's not gonna happen. Like, can you please be in my shoes? Because I'd like to see when you make that happen.
Yeah. How about we switch roles for a day and see how you roll?
Because I don't think you understand that can't happen.
No.
The only way that happens is this: you pull all-nighters constantly, and you don't get tired when you do them. That's the only way you can maybe afford that. I don't pull all-nighters. I don't like working late. Once it hits like 9 o'clock, I do not want to do school. 9 p.m. I don't want to do school. I might do school a bit, but I am not in that like, okay, let's learn kind of mood, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, and that's once again why I think workload, I mean, should be less because of that. Like, just be like, hey, these kids learn in their house. They also relax in their house. Let's find a good way to balance those two things out. Like no one's thought of that. Like, or they probably have, but they're just not thinking. Like,
They
actually
haven't found a
talking
solution
about
to
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So yeah,
the whole
that
social aspect's gone too. So
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I literally don't know half my professors, guys. Like I still don't know their names, and the course ended.
Yeah.
So that's a bruh.
Yeah, dude, like I don't know anyone to be like I honestly I'm not kid you not. I'm thinking right now. I think I only know the full name and can actually talk to this person and they would recognize my name. One person. Only one person. And that's just because we talked on the Zoom call for a course. That's the only reason. Like, and it's one person. Everyone else, okay, I might not recognize their name. They could be like, oh, hey, we were in the same tutorial. I'll be like, oh, cool. Didn't know. Like, I don't actually retain, like, personal information from anyone except one person just because, like, they stood out. Like, because we had to talk and, like, work together and discuss stuff. One person.
Yeah.
3 months, one person. Like, what? Like, bro, what?
Yeah, for me it was like I only know one person, except we know each other only on like a first name basis.
Mhm.
And that's pretty much it. And that's because we had to work on a project together. And like
Yeah.
that's it. That's it. That's the only person I know. Five courses, 3 months, one person. Not even like I don't even know anything about him. I just know his first name. So yeah.
Yeah, pretty tough. All right, I think last topic I'll kind of talk about because we've been doing this for a while. But good job on the podcast, guys. We're getting content in. Next steps.
Content.
What are the next steps you want to see going forward? Whether that be, and let's kind of keep it maybe for next semester, winter 2021. Like it's Christmas break right now. What do you think? Like maybe people should be getting around doing, and what changes do you want to see immediately or long term? Whoever wants to go first can go first.
Okay, I'm like at the end of the semester, I think the professors they started to look towards the problems and actually fixing them, which is great. I want them to keep on doing that, and like not repeat first semester. I think that's like the main thing. But like other than that, I want them to make the lectures more, more exciting, to be honest, because the lectures are so bad right now. Like it's impossible to actually learn from them. In fact, I did, but I'm gonna tell you guys in the podcast, I didn't go to like any of my physics lectures, like at all. I still did well in it, but like I didn't go to any of them because they were so boring. I didn't learn anything from them, and the things I learned while watching courses were exactly the same as I would have without actually watching the same lectures. So like I don't know, I just didn't watch the lectures at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the thing
Yeah.
for me is like with that is like I get stressed out because like I know I'm going to a boring lecture. And it's like this is boring. I know I'm not gonna learn anything. But this is where I have to go to learn the thing. Like if I might need to know what the professor's talking about for this exam. And it's just so hard to do. It's like you feel so pressured to take in some kind of information, but it's just not happening because it's not engaging enough. So
I'm actually surprised too, because like I feel like I did better in physics than every other course, and that's mainly because I didn't go to the lectures, which is kind of ironic, because
yeah,
I'm doing better by not going to the lectures. That's how bad the lectures are. I think that says a lot about how it's set up.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, Frank? What should the next steps be?
Overall, go
see?
easier on us. Even with COVID going on, go easier on us, because
Elaborate what going easier looks like.
maybe like the workload cut a little bit out, because imagine okay, let's say depending on the program, right? Some programs have 7 courses, 6 courses. We have 5.
Mm-hmm.
Make it so the workload and the workload is manageable, and so people don't fall behind, because let's say you fall behind one course and you're trying to catch up in another one, and then it's kind of very disorganizing and more stress, and
Yeah.
kind of make it, as Jino said earlier, make the lectures engaging, and not just having us sit there with our earbuds in and just listening to a 3-hour lecture, and coming out of that and not retaining much, and then we're left on our own.
Yeah. I think what I want to see is definitely what I'm hoping happens this Christmas break, winter break. I am hoping the education minister for Ontario universities, we're talking in terms of Ontario universities because that's where we go. They get together in a meeting and have this huge debrief and basically come down to the conclusion of that was awful. Let's not have the semester go like that again. Let's do something to fix it, right? Let's immediately get second semester different. Let's have it be different. And what I want to see, like you guys have also, you've all pointed this out, easier. Go easier on us in the sense that, for one of my courses that I just did for this fall semester, I think this guy went on probably 1 month talking about these 3 important figures, right? And he assigned huge readings, 30-page readings. And basically I'm walking away from this course with I can talk about them quite a bit, say a good paragraph about them, and that's the gist of what I had to learn. That's really what was the most important thing for me to learn. Oh, this guy, he did this, he talked about this, he came up with the idea for this, this theory, this principle, this kind of mindset. It's a philosophy course, so we're talking about that. But that's what what's important to walk away with. But the professor had to really talk about these 3 guys for a whole month, and I'm just thinking, you could have covered all 3 of these guys in one lecture with one PowerPoint presentation with the key things we had to talk about, and then maximum maybe it takes you 2 lectures, one to introduce them, and then one to come back to and kind of elaborate more. But no, it took you a month or a month and a half to do that. So in that sense, do what I just said. If it's simple and there's just significant little things to learn, teach that. Don't drag it on. That's how you save time. And and to us, it seems more manageable.
Yeah. So it actually pisses me off so badly. They waste time on simple concepts, and then they don't spend time on the harder one. And they make the whole thing more confusing in general. I honestly regret taking uni this year, to be honest, because online is so bad. It's that bad.
Well, mind you, none of us knew this was happening. So
yeah,
it's not
yeah.
if there was a thing to be hey, you can back out with no additional costs. Get your money back. I'd be okay. I don't know if I would do that because that's me personally, but I would consider it for sure. But yeah. Uh,
it feels like a scam, doesn't it? Because like
yeah,
we're
it does.
we're losing our money.
Same tuition. We're paying the same tuition
Yeah. Yeah.
for.
Also, like for the lab material for my for one of my courses, it was like $25 for like a spring and a ball. I could get those for like 50 cents max at Dollarama or something. They
Mhm.
made us pay $25.
Right.
Like, bro, that's a scam.
You
Like
know what?
legit.
Yeah.
Like it's worse than EA.
Oh.
It's worse than EA, guys. Like I'm not even joking. That's how bad it is.
Nice.
Hashtag lower tuition.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe
Tuition
that's something
so
we do. Okay. Is there any kind of like last things you guys want to say? Because that wraps it up for the topics I want to talk about. Well, if you want to say anything, you can say anything, and then we can conclude the podcast. Anything?
Yeah, I
Jino?
think that was it. That was it.
Yeah.
I mean, we could
Yeah.
talk more, but like that would like last for a little too long. So
Like
think we
for
could end
part
it.
2 of the Struggle Within University podcast. Let's.
Facts.
Facts.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Frank, anything you want to say? Like,
I'm good.
all right, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just say this, like, moral of the story, it was tough. It was hard. We didn't like it. Is change on its way? I don't know. I'd like to hope so. That's me being optimistic. But I just think there really needs to be time to really sit down, take a step back, and be like, okay, let's sort this out. Let's make this better. Because they have to realize that this wasn't good. And yeah, I just hope, I'm going to stay hopeful that maybe things change. But if they don't, it's unfortunate. And we'll be back for another episode of this rant. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for this podcast. It was our first one. Hopefully it went well. And yeah, we'll do more of these in the future. Definitely not sure how many, but yeah, that's going to do it for this podcast, the Wolf Den podcast. Frank, Jino, you want to say bye to the viewers or anything?
Bye, viewers.
Bye.
Hope you had a
Bye,
good
viewers.
time.
Goodbye.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye, guys.